Hello, my people. It's Dahlia.
And Nicole.
And welcome back to another week of Quiche My Ass. We haven't recorded in like a month, and we're super excited to be back. I am. I've been practicing on my car rides home every day. I don't know about you.
I'm kind of wishing I was still on my honeymoon, to be honest, but I'm happy to be back here with you guys.
Are you?
Am I happy to be back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am happy to be back to like some normalcy in my life instead of just like wild ride.
I could vacation for months. So I don't know. I think I'm just a weird person that could just do whatever and not have a schedule for like.
For sure you are.
I am. I am very much that type of person. But, you know, holidays around the corner and I'm broke again.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm
like,
very broke and, you know, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for all the food that I have to eat. I don't know about you.
I'm definitely not ready for that.
No, but whatever. I'm going to be cooking. I'm making myself. I went and ate at Faro with Aaron. Mm-hmm. And
Is it still as good as it was before? Did you
I
ever
never
go
ate there before.
Okay.
But there was a white veal ragu. I'm making it. I wanted to like call up the restaurant.
Are you going to do truffle?
Yeah, I'm going to do white truffle with it. But I was like calling up. I like wanted to call up the restaurant and be like, can I just come in and see how you guys make this one dish? Is that weird?
No, just go and eat it again.
No, I don't want to eat it again. I want to make it. Is it weird to call up the chef and be like...
Well, you can sit at the counter, too, and watch what they do.
I guess I can. Maybe I'll go today. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It was so good. But anyway, we have a guest today. Sorry, guys, for the banter. I haven't seen this guest in 7 years.
Who's counting?
I know, but like it's just crazy.
Your like iPhone stopwatch is still ticking.
Yeah. We met freshman year of college and we didn't hang out that much throughout college, but when we saw each other, it was like we were best friends every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Well, we were like running each other. Well, we had labs together freshman year,
yeah.
For like product ID, whatever, that storeroom class.
Yes.
And then we never saw each other besides in public.
We never like made plans to hang out or anything. And then we're just I keep in touch with a lot of people in my life that I have come across, and Frank, which this is Frank, guys.
Hello.
Was in culinary art with me, but then went to pastry. Then went into gastronomy. We're going to go into all of it.
Oh, yeah. It's a track for sure.
Yes. Frank is an overachiever. He is goody two-shoes. He is perfect.
She
Gorgeous.
says the same thing about me anyways.
Do I? No, but yeah. Actually,
to your face?
No, you two
sure.
are actually like the same. You guys will go above and beyond for yourself, like not for anyone else.
It's called anxiety, really.
Seriously.
Wow, it is.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Let's name it what it is.
And how do you say your last name properly?
Carrieri.
Carrieri.
Yeah, and if
What do you usually get?
Carrieri. Well, like that's also proper. It's a Carrieri in Italian.
Carrieri.
When I went to Italy a couple of years ago, people were like off the bat started speaking to me in Italian, and I was like, hi.
Well, because Frank is from Long Island.
Long Island. I lost the accent at 18 when I moved to Rhode Island.
Yes, where we met freshman year.
Yes.
So you went Long Island. Did you do culinary school in high school?
Yes, I did. I
forgot.
Go to
Yes,
Boatsies, yeah.
overachievers.
And that's how we were in the same class. Like our.
Yes, because we did the fast track because we did high school classes.
Yeah, it's
Overachievers. So I love how they called us that, like in college. They're like, oh, really? Like you just get to skip a few classes because you did it in high school. And I'm like, well, it's not really a choice. Like they just told it. I wish I took the basic classes.
Oh, I did not. I would not. No. Like,
because
what are
Frank
the classes?
Frank knows everything.
Yeah. What are the classes? Like, I don't even remember what I did in 2012. I just like literally I walked into Johnson & Wales and I walked out in 2015 and like with 3 degrees. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was like, well, first of all, it hits you like a wall because like labs aren't easy. It's like going to the military. You have to be there at like 6:30, like dressed.
Pressed.
Yeah. Like,
dressed and pressed.
Yeah, it was very hard. And Frank always did it No matter what. I don't know.
God.
You always just like looked good.
Stop, I'm
joined
blushing.
every club. Can you name all the clubs that you were a part of?
I didn't join every club. I was part of like competitions in Johnson, Wales. So, which I also did as a high school student at BOCES.
Was it Skills
competed
USA?
as well?
Yes.
Skills USA.
Yeah, so I competed in Skills USA. My junior year I did like front of house service, and then my senior year I did culinary arts. And there's like this really cute photo of me just like in the middle of competition, like, what the F am I doing with here? Like I actually.
Would you guys have to make like a chicken dish or something?
Yes,
yeah,
and then
like
we had to do a salad.
Simple.
And I literally have a photo of it, and it's literally a like tomato rose or a carrot rose. I'm like,
God.
Yeah, like really like throwback to the 1980s, like disgusting with like bok choy salad. Like, who the hell does bok choy as a salad green? Like,
oh God.
I was literally going through something. Like, where is my chef to say you need help? You know.
They were probably like, "We love you, Frank."
Yeah, we love you. Like, and they're like, oh, this is so bad, but we can't hurt his feelings. Sensitive.
You are sensitive.
Well, as a gay man, I think that is a portion of my body. Yes. But I did competitions. I was like really where I found my love for food, and I felt like
Did you win the competitions?
Oh, well, in high school, I won local. So there's like local, regional. I won regional. And then state. And regional was like a test almost. It was like, well, you don't really win anything besides a medal, but like not like you get narrowed down in states, which is, or actually no, maybe you did. I don't remember. It was like 10 years ago. I'm old. And I have dementia basically at this point. But what was the question?
Did you win any?
Did you win?
Oh, yeah. So I want... What's the question? Call me Tom Girardi.
You don't even know who that is.
I have no idea.
I love the Housewives.
Erica Jane.
Yeah, which we could talk about. I used to work for them
oh my gosh,
in LA.
that's so funny. You worked at Vanderpump?
No, like I did like oh my God.
Imagine.
What was I doing? Making lava cakes? No, I was... and of course, Lisa Vanderpump would never listen to this podcast, or if she would, hi.
We love you, Lisa.
We love you, Lisa. We're a fan. Doggygate was a scam. No. So I did win. Back to competitions. I did win. States I did not, which I was okay with.
I'm trying not to touch the table.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm a Italian. You know,
I'm
New York.
Italian.
I know. Just like
I get
wave
excited.
You do this.
You're right. Sorry. And in college, I went off to compete with the American Culinary Federation. And so my first year, I was an alternate. And so basically just a glorified dishwasher, which is a very humbling experience. Also,
I feel like you should do it, yeah.
100%. Everyone should always start at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I also kept the team on track. And there was a lot of...
like time-wise?
Yeah. And that was such an important thing for them because... my next year, I was doing the pastry for, it was 4 courses. So I was the pastry chef on the team. And Did
you study pastry at that point?
So I started Johnson Wales at Culinary Arts. And then I worked at the Seaport Hotel. Okay. It was a summer job that turned into an internship because I was like, well, I'm here. Why not stay?
Right.
And then I was so bored. Like, I was, like, cooking chicken, cooking steaks, like, blah, 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 on the line, so bored and not feeling creative enough. And so I was, like, to the executive chef. I was like, hey, can I spend some time in pastry? He was like, yeah, cool. It was 3 days he gave me, and it was, like, the best 3 days ever. Because I thought pastry was cookies, pies, and cakes. And it's, like, so narrow-minded. Because, like, in high school, I hated pastry, hated the whole unit of baking and pastry. And... I was open to like, it was so much more. It's, chocolate, bread, sugar. It's the whole science component to it. And I felt so in love with that and felt that I could be much more creative and really found my artistic voice through pastry from that experience. So it was 3 days in the pastry shop at the Seaport Hotel in Boston. And I was like super smart where I went in front of the pastry chef and I was like, hey, Karen, so you need me more than they need me. So can I like stay? And of course I batter my like my eyelashes. And she's like, oh my God, of course, baby angel gorgeous. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love you.
She never said that, but shout out to Lisa Barlow.
Yeah,
Baby
right?
gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Literally, no one is like, who the are you talking about?
No, I do.
Yes.
And you know what? I think the world is definitely 50-50 split with like the Bravo and then the non-Bravo. And we get it. We always add the little, like, I am Teresa Giudice. Like, you motherfucking whore, got married 18 times. Anyway.
And I'm the person who's
She has
like,
no
I
idea
no
what
idea.
we're talking about. Engaged 18
Yes.
times. Sorry, guys.
She's the blurred face in the scene.
She's Melania that's running across the room.
Which, like, grow up is a bop.
Yeah, seriously.
Truly one-hit wonder, and it's so sad. But so me, like, loving pastry and finding that and working longer. So my end of my internship, it was like a month left, and so I stayed in pastry, and it was like the best experience ever. And
But then
so,
how did you tell J-Boo, like, hey, I'm going to do pastry now?
so for the competition team, I was supposed to do the entree originally. And then I was working at the Zebra Hotel, love pastry. So I was like to my co-chef at Belenek and Ray McHugh, and I was like, hey, I want to do the pastry. And so our pastry chef left the team. She didn't want to do it anymore, which is like cool. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like I totally understand that, you
It's
know?
school work and competition. That's
Yeah.
what you were doing.
Like my weekends were like
I never saw him.
oh my God. Like you would probably see me at a party at 3 a.m. in the morning or like literally midnight. I would go till 3 a.m. and then go to bed for 3 hours, wake up and do a run, like 2 or 3 like runs during the day of like for the competition.
That's
it was
crazy.
I would never do that today. I'd be like, I'm too busy.
Sorry, I'm out.
Sorry, not sorry. But I had to try out for that spot. And I tried out. I remember I had like 10 different flavors on this one dish. But it was something that they saw potential and they saw, you know, that I was so passionate for that they gave me a chance. And which was amazing because later on we had a regional competition Northeast Regional, and my dessert was like the best dessert of that entire day. And they hosted it at Johnson & Wales, the entire ACF 2014 convention. And I was the best dessert the entire day, including the professional category.
Wow.
Which is like humble brag. Like I was
Yeah,
like,
okay, humble brag.
I was like, wait, what?
So humble.
I remember it was like white chocolate mousse, roasted white chocolate mousse, which is a very like interesting tech. Now you buy like roasted white chocolate,
By the caramello and
yes, or
Yeah.
the dulce or whatever, and like back then you had to roast it, and this was like 10 years ago. Let's be real,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you had to roast it, slow roast it in an oven, strain it, and then like it'll be good. And then it was like blackberry, basil. So it was like 3 flavors, right? Versus my 10 flavor tryout dish.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was like, I felt so validated that this was the right choice. And that was like the start of my pastry journey.
But then, so you were what, like a sophomore after your internship?
Yes.
But then you went to pastry, like you studied pastry.
Yes. And so how that happened was, so the baking pastry program at Johnson & Wales was very selective. There's only, at that time, I guess there was like 300 people that are able to join the program. And so also the reason why, because there was not enough like instructors to student ratio as well, like lab space to student ratio kind of deal. So I like really fought for a freshman spot in the class. And I remember like going to like the department chair, and like teachers would, professors, instructors would have to like sponsor me and like vouch for me that I would be a really great fit, and it would be foolish for them not to put me in that program. So like I was like in the middle of my bachelor's.
Humble brag again.
I was like in the middle of my bachelor's program, like intro, like hospitality seminar, whatever the classes are, that were like really just
They were not
lame.
Yeah.
Like I never use any of those skills.
They had to give us some sort of academic classic.
Right. I wrote a paper about like it was like a marketing class. It was like HR class. That's what it was. I remember. Oh God, that was the worst.
That was the
class
worst
ever.
class, actually.
Oh, God.
Worst
It was a
class
really bad
ever.
class.
I didn't learn any. There was no takeaways from that class
No.
besides
Don't sexually harass people.
Which, common freaking sense.
You
right?
would hope.
You would
would
hope.
Not really.
Not for
though.
everybody.
Not for everybody. Yeah. Right. Oh gosh. But I also remember like we did a whole.
Not for Mario Batali. I mean, he could have used the class.
He honestly should have sat in.
I would say there's way more chefs that could have used that class.
God, they should really be like a class. Like that should be in every program, not management. Like how to be a good freaking person and like lead. That would be really nice. But we did like a project. We had to go to a restaurant and like evaluate the restaurant. Like how is this HR? How is this HR?
That was a horrible class. That was really bad. I went
But
to
did
Julian's.
you get a free trip to a restaurant?
No,
and you
it's
guys
not
are
free.
No, you had to pay
go
for
and
it.
Eat.
Yeah, you're like, I'm broke, baby. I'm a work study at Starbucks. I can't do this.
Oh, you did your work study at Starbucks?
No, I didn't, but most people do. Which is like
I
the
would
best.
Never. What?
What?
Because if you had a morning shift, you were feeding the morning class.
You literally was feeding the masses.
Yeah.
You were, yeah.
So you would think like a culinary school would have amazing breakfast. We ate Starbucks for breakfast. That was our breakfast.
When
Cranberry Bliss Bar.
I did, I went to Johnson & Wales just to see it because I almost went to Johnson & Wales. And I remember going to the cafeteria. I'm like, this is what you guys eat for breakfast? Like the Starbucks in the cafe and then like...
Or Harborside.
Yeah,
or
but
Snowden.
you have to like walk over or take the bus over.
Right.
But also think there are so many people in this world who would be grateful for Starbucks. So other like...
But it was
that
students making the Starbucks. So it was Starbucks. But you know what I mean? Like
yeah, it was like, someone who was doing PM labs or like, another culinary student and they're like literally heating up a bagel.
Like they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
They're making less than minimum wage because I don't think
work study
was minimum wage.
Right. It was like $7.25, right? Federal government wage. Like,
yeah.
I remember once I would order, jokingly, obviously, but this person didn't think this. I was like, can I get a passion tea lemonade with a shot of bleach? And jokingly.
That sounds good.
And the person like pulled their like supervisor and they're like, wait, what's bleach? And I was like, it's a joke.
But that's culinary school. There's idiots there.
Right. It's just like
there was a
culinary
guy
humor.
looking for cilantro near the olive oils. He was like, I'm looking for cilantro. I was like, do you think it's a liquid?
Right.
Also, whoever looks for cilantro.
I like cilantro.
I love cilantro. And those people, I went on a date once with a guy who was like anti-cilantro. And I was like, this is it. I'm sorry.
Goodbye. You have to go here.
Yeah, like we're done. You're paying for dinner. I'm going home. This is in Boston.
But people that don't like cilantro is because they think it tastes like soap.
And also, are you eating soap? Let's talk about that.
We all have had shampoo or conditioner in our mouth.
No, I'm sorry. I'm literally not in the shower.
No one else.
Like mouth open.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I'm
gonna switch the topic a little bit because I think the two of you are having a lot of fun, but I think we need a little direction.
Yeah, well, that's why you're here, girl.
Yeah, thank you so much for your service. Country thanks you.
And I have a question that this is something I didn't ask you about because it literally just came to my mind.
Oh my god. So
but
brave.
would you be comfortable talking about being a gay man in the kitchen?
Oh my god. Where do I start?
Okay, great. And I didn't, just so our listeners know, we didn't talk about this before, so whatever.
They literally just outed me on podcast. Mom, I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. Well, I guess like
I'm gonna ask a few questions just to give you a little direction. Have you been treated differently because of it? Have you been held?
Nicole, not with the Nicole does a 5-question attack.
No, just because I want you to know.
He has dementia. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you been treated differently because of it?
Absolutely, and I think one is I have key voice, right? That's just fact. I left Long Island with a Long Island accent, and then I went to Rhode Island with a gay voice. And absolutely, it's kind of crazy. People look at me and they look down on me because of, my...
Is this people meaning males more than females?
Oh, I actually feel safer with a female pastry chef than a male pastry chef.
Okay.
Is just from experience, like... Male pastry chefs they look down on you and they do have internalized homophobia. and they don't know that they're doing it, and just like, I'm not your, don't make fun of me, or like, don't like, they'll have like sexual innuendos because of that. And it's like, that's not okay. And they'll do that to females as well. And it's like, it's both like being gay and then also being female. Like, it's the same kind of attitude. And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah. How do you deal with that, though?
You know, it's kind of hard, right? It's like, you kind of have to be the better person.
I know. It's so stupid.
Which is so, like, demeaning and, like, sad, right? That, like, these people in management position are humiliating you. And I had many people do that. Yeah. At face value.
Do you think... sorry, I can let you finish your sentence.
Like, I had once, like, somebody, like, just straight out say a lot of these homophobic stuff to my face. And I had to, like, deepen my voice and get, like change like my persona, like really be like scare them, be like, do not treat me like this. This is not okay, and I am not your joke. Yeah, you can't make fun of me.
Do you think that sorry to get so serious.
No, I love talking about stuff like this.
No, but
we always wanted to talk about this. That's why
it's an important issue.
It is an important issue, and it happens more than we think.
Yeah.
Do you think that for a gay man, it's better to be savory or it's better to be pastry?
Definitely pastry, I would say. And I think for savory, I mean, there's like gender norms, right? I guess we could say with an industry, right? Yeah. We think men are savory chefs and we think females are pastry chefs.
Yeah.
Which is so disgusting.
Which is so disgusting. Also, there's much more male presence in the pastry kitchen than female presence, shockingly.
I hate when people are like, oh, you're the pastry chef. It's like,
no.
Never.
Yeah. Also, I will, on the record, the best kitchen I ever worked in is a fully female-run kitchen.
Nice.
Like, pastry chef and chef. It was in Boston at Mooncusher Fish House. Carolyn Johnson is the chef. Love her dearly. And Katie Hamilton is was the pastry chef, and best kitchen ever.
Because they treated everyone the same, pretty much.
With respect and dignity.
Yeah. And clean and organized.
Oh my God.
And thoughtful.
Like, the coolers were always cleaned. Like, everything was, like, properly FIFO. There was no, like, question of how old this is. Like, men are gross. I'm sorry. Men are gross. And like, period.
And I think a lot of men have double standards where they hold you accountable for things, but they don't do what they're telling you to do.
100%. It's like, you know, do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
And it's like not cool. And also, like, when I vocalize something, people think I'm complaining.
Yeah.
Because of my, like, how I speak.
Same.
Right?
We're
and
girls,
it's like
we know.
And it's like, no, I'm telling you, this is like not okay. This is wrong. Or like, we could improve this process to make it more efficient. And you just look at me like, what do you know? Yeah. Who are you to tell me this? Right. You're just below me. Right?
I was correcting actually a female one time, and like I could already tell like she didn't respect me in general, and I was just like, all right, whatever. Like, she's a little girl, I don't care. I told her she had to rewrap something because she wrapped it improperly. Like, she didn't, and she gave it to me, and she's like, "Are you gonna bitch again?" And right away, I just looked at her. I was like, "You're never gonna get respect in the kitchen." And now she's like a sous chef somewhere, and I like heard that like she's just getting shit on all the time, and I'm like, exactly. Like, you don't respect people. Like,
yeah, if you can't respect your women bosses, they're not gonna respect you either.
So I worked in a kitchen fairly recently, and there was only one girl on the pastry team, which was like mind-boggling. And
how big was the team?
Team of like 8 or 9 people. Wow. Pastry chef, sous chef, and then cooks. And then she was the only female. And like, people would say, and these, like, the pastry team would say like, oh, she's being a bitch, or she's bitching, she's complaining, and all these like derogatory words. Yeah. And it's like, I stood up. I was like, that's not okay to say. You cannot say that. You would not say that about the male counterpart who's doing much worse than what she would say. She's just saying like she needs these things, right? She needs this stuff for service.
Perfect, or she wants them a certain way because.
Yeah. And like you're saying that she's demanding or she's being like bossy. And it's like, nah, look at yourself. Look at your privilege. Let's be real. Gets me fired up. And like I'm to a point where I will call it out. I'm not afraid.
I think you should now. Like
I'm not afraid.
Like if I will call out. Like I don't care anymore.
Yeah, who are you?
We used to be scared.
Yeah.
We used to be such pussies and like not say anything and just be like, chef's just being chef.
Oh,
you know
he's
what I
just
mean?
doing it. It's just like,
oh,
it's fine.
And then when we did say something, other people would be like, well, that's just how he is. And we would just be like, no, like you can't do it that way. Like that's not how things.
It's not an excuse.
That's
not.
how he is.
Like, but no. I've seen it like the way gay people get treated in a kitchen. Like it's different because it's such a male dominated world.
Do you think it's just insecurity?
Totally. And I feel like gay men get sexualized as women do as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And it's like
they always have to talk about our sex.
Yeah, it's like can we talk about like this like really cool like local fish we got in?
Yeah, it's always about like what do we want in like, you know, after school activities.
Or what are you doing after work tonight? Or who are you going to see tonight? Like it shouldn't be
or like
about
why
that.
are you looking good? You probably have gotten like
why do you wear too much makeup for females, right? It's like who cares? I don't tell you to clip your nails, Brad. You know? Like get rid of your like gross like whatever greasy hair, like condition your hair sometimes, Brad. Like no, like I don't say any of that because like it's not in my place. I care about your work.
Yeah.
You know? Like unless there's like a health like standard like you're worried about, but like why even talk about it? Think first, like think before you speak. Is it worth me saying this? Can it be offensive?
Yeah.
And is it like demeaning to this person? No one puts like, I feel like chefs sometimes don't put themselves in other people's shoes. And that's the biggest issue in the industry, right? It's like people don't take a step back and introspect.
Yeah.
And you have these like chefs who are just like in their own ego. And the minute you like combat that and you say, hey, this is wrong, or you favor this person.
Yeah.
I've seen that plenty of times.
So there are two things that happen to women commonly in the industry. One is we get passed up for promotion and it's given to a man, and two, they get paid less. Do you think that happens to gay men as well? Or do you think that the pay scale is the same or equal?
I think as a gay man, I think people like if there's a straight man in power, they will pass me over for sure. And I've had instances where I had like executive chef like made me feel uncomfortable, and HR like laughed at it. Like I was
went to HR? I
went to HR and I was like, I felt really uncomfortable. And they're like, well, do you think it's sexualized? He was like, I'm like, doesn't matter. He touched me. And like, I was like, and he like massaged my shoulder. Like,
which like no one should touch you.
Yeah. Like use your words. So like I was cooking on the stovetop. I was like making pastry cream. I remember this vividly. He comes over to me. He puts his hand on my shoulder, like rubs it and was like, hey, how you doing? What? Ew, gross. Like, I'm sorry. I go to HR, and this is the first time I ever felt this way, where like almost an out of body experience where
you can't do anything. You're in shock. I've felt that a few times. You have no idea what to say. And I'm a very blunt, outgoing, like I will tell you straight up.
Yeah, but when you feel trapped by like an employer, it's like, what do you do?
Right. Yeah. And he wasn't like, he was the executive chef.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, that's the even scary part.
I feel like HR protects.
They protects them. Because they're the company.
Did you guys learn that in your HR class that you had to
take?
Oh,
my God. They should have said that the first time. Because honestly. They should have been like,
if it's the executive chef or someone in power, please don't tell on them.
They should say HR looks for the betterment of the company.
They do. They're not there to, I mean, they say they're there to protect the employees, but they're there to protect the
Image.
entire company.
Yeah,
Yes.
the image for
The
sure.
image.
Like,
And so I remember HR actually pulled up their lawyer definition of harassment.
no.
And they're like, well, would you say it was this? I was like, are you kidding me right now?
So how long did you stay at that job after that incident?
Not
Sorry, my tummy's making a weird noise.
not long. No. And it was like, it was that and then other things at like this one job that I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a point in your career, you're done with bullshit.
Yeah.
You're like, where you
Do you
know your
think
worth.
it's career? Or do you think we just got older and realized like this is what we're worth?
I think it's maturity.
Yeah.
You know, I think also at a young age, you're always taught, head down and work.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Well, our industry.
Our
I wouldn't
industry.
Say, I wouldn't say other jobs.
But
Yeah.
there is a time where like you really start looking around, and that's when it changes.
And some people look up faster than others.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
we know. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then and then when you look up and you're like, this is not what I like to see. Yeah, it really opens your eyes to like, this is not right for me.
Yeah.
And like you have to leave that toxic environment. Absolutely, like it's refreshing to come to that point and say, I'm better than this.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's okay to say that. It's okay to be selfless like that and like own it.
Yeah.
So we're not here to throw anybody under the bus, but is there a certain business that you would want to say that you have felt completely comfortable in yourself and know, like, is there a place that you've worked that really like leaned in and supported you as a gay male and like celebrated that versus the opposite?
Well, I think the places that like also just look at me as Frank the pastry chef.
Yeah.
And my sexuality and my orientation
Has nothing to
has
do with
nothing
it.
to do to my skills. And like my skills can attest for themselves. And they're just like, we want that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And also there's people like they want an inclusive and diverse, kitchen, and I support that, and I'm always one to put forth that, so I don't know. I don't think I think there's people who've guided me and mentored me, and just because of who I am and my drive, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's
what matters.
That's what matters, right? They know of the struggles as, a gay man or a person of color or a woman might face in the industry, and they're open to defend that person to the very end. And those are people that I look up to, that I respect, and that I also am paving the way for, right? For the
Next generation.
The next generation,
Yeah.
right? And be like, you can trust me, and you can know that I have your back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think being vocal and being...
Is it crazy that it's changing while we're in it?
It
Isn't it insane?
100%.
Like
I
the
think it's
past
beautiful,
10 years,
though,
like
in a-
we're literally seeing the most dramatic change, but in a good way, hopefully in a good way. And how like the older white male chefs are mad about this change, where they're
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
you don't understand how hard it was to be a chef in the 90s, where like pots and pans were being thrown at you. And I'm like, well, that should have never happened in the beginning.
Yeah, you allowed that.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
you were complicit.
Gordon Ramsay supposedly is actually a nice person. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, what like that network did is they popularized that concept of what is the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? And they made it, and they like monetized from that. And in reality, it's not really like that everywhere. Really not. I remember my first kitchen job. It was like super stressful. Like the chef would yell at you for not pulling out the short rib from the freezer, or like the pork butt, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, whoa. I remember being stressed
know.
from
You're like
that.
in bed,
Stressed
like
out.
I
I'm like, did I pull out the pork butt? I don't remember. It's like, but like.
now you're like, whatever. I could defrost in the microwave.
I'm zen.
Oh God.
I'm much more zen than I was like in college. I was much more anxious in college. I think the trying to be perfect.
Yeah, that was your goal.
Oh my God, and it's stupid.
Also, I don't think Nicole knows this, or the guests or the listeners that are listening. What did you do after you graduated college? Johnson Wales. Where did you go?
Oh gosh. Well, I went to Boston.
Yeah,
And
you
I went to grad school
And what did you go to grad school for?
for gastronomy, which is the study of food and culture. Where
Isn't that crazy?
Wow, I'd love to hear more
When
about
you
it.
told me about that, I was like, who does that?
Literally,
Frank.
psycho, me.
So what school did you go to?
So I went to Boston University, and so at the time I was working at the Boston Harbor Hotel. It was one of the best experiences, I would say, from early in my career, especially after college, because I had the opportunity to do so much. I was in charge of Meritage, which was the hotel restaurant, creating those weekly specials, and it weren't something amateur. I was really pushing myself and pushing myself to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And really challenge myself.
You were also going to school.
As well, going to school. As well, there was 3 months I worked at Starbucks, which
Going back to Starbucks.
literally would never, I would just get the free pound of coffee. That was I wanted to work 12 hours just to get free coffee.
Oh, I didn't know you get free coffee that way.
1 pound a week.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't
That's
know that
correct.
was a thing.
12 hours
And
a
free
week.
Spotify too. So
Only
that-
12 hours a week and you get a pound of coffee
Yeah,
for
I was
free?
part-time. And then they want to
Plus free coffee while you're there.
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
then free Spotify. Hello. Love that. But I left the industry for a minute because I worked at BU, Boston University, because they paid for grad school, which
Oh, okay.
is,
I didn't know that.
yeah, some schools do this where
Okay.
after a certain time you're able it's tuition remission, right, within the university, and they'll pay for a program, and so they basically paid for my grad school. But in grad school, I studied food policy. That was my concentration. So I focused on food insecurity issues within the United States. And then I also studied cookbooks, and where I kind of looked back at 19th century French cookbooks and understood French identity through desserts, through their recipes. So I would go, Harvard has a library, and they have all these
I hope Harvard
first
has a library.
first edition cookbook. They have a cookbook library.
Wow.
And so we had access to that.
Maybe we should go.
Oh my god, it's the
We should
coolest thing
record in
ever.
there.
I don't know if you can.
I think that's illegal.
Yeah, very illegal. Literally they had it's the coolest thing. I opened up Antonio Creme cookbook, from the 1800s.
That's crazy.
Stunning.
That's interesting because what do people what is a degree that you can get at Harvard where you need to look
BU.
at cookbooks?
It's at BU, but Harvard allowed us to go to their library.
Right, but why
Oh,
would
at
Harvard
Harvard?
need those cookbooks?
Anthropology, sociology,
It's Harvard.
yeah, it's literally any kind insert liberal arts
They
degree
probably
here.
have the dumbest
So,
books.
Julia Child actually donated her entire cookbook library to Harvard because she
Oh,
is
wow.
based in Cambridge, and because her whole show was birth
That's
out of Boston.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I think before she passed or whatever, she donated to Harvard, which was very cool. So you could see Julia Child's actual cookbooks there as well.
That's crazy.
On top of these French cookbooks from the 18th century, it's artifacts at this point.
Yeah.
So my study was understanding French identity through cookbooks, and then which people thought I was crazy to get a master's degree. 'Cause honestly, really, I'm a pastry chef. I make pastries. I give people diabetes for a living. I don't need a master's, but I did it because I want to learn more about food and I want to talk about food more. And I thought for me as a pastry chef, I could talk the talk. I could walk the walk. As
You
technical
definitely could
skills.
walk to walk.
Now I want to talk the talk, and I really want to connect with people more than just okay, we're making a chocolate mousse. Let's talk about
Why?
why are we doing?
Or
Let's
where
talk about
it
the
came
history.
from, yeah.
Let's talk about context, right? My number one thing, I love context. I love learning about what happened before and what is happening now. I love I'm a food history nerd. If I didn't go to culinary school, I definitely would have been a history teacher because I love talking
Give
about
us
history.
a cool fact about a random dessert.
Go through my Rolodex. I'm gonna put me on the spot.
Putting you on the spot. I just want to know something interesting.
Something that I'm such a nerd. I want to hear it
Yeah,
all.
Nicole's
Tell me
all about
everything.
Oh gosh. Okay. Gosh, pressure.
I'm sorry. What if I give you
We can revisit it.
Yes, we can revisit this. I'm trying to think. So, okay. I'll pull from my thesis.
Okay, yeah, I was literally gonna ask about your thesis. Like, what was your thesis
Pull it.
in this school?
So it is actually.
Oh yeah, what is your?
Let me
thesis?
pull it out so I remember the title of
You
it.
have it?
Of course, I'm a technology.
It's Frank. I don't think I think
Like,
you're getting used to who the Frank is.
Literally asked me if I have my meat cutting notes from freshman year.
We took meat cutting together, didn't we? No, we
don't-
didn't.
I
No,
don't
I
know,
took
I
it with
think.
somebody else.
I probably have it on this phone. I have everything literally. So
That was the hardest class.
Meat cutting.
Yeah.
Oh, who do you have? Who do you have?
The serial killer. What's the name?
You can't say that.
Why can I say that?
He's not a serial killer.
But he was.
Like
He was a serial killer. We all know it.
yeah.
You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Oh gosh, I had to go off the record. I don't condone that.
He just like drove a car that was old and beaten down, and you know that like the instructors at JU were making decent money, so you're just like, oh, that's a little weird. He wore like a trench coat all the time.
like let him live.
Nice guy though.
Super sweet.
Like everyone was like, dude, horrible class, worst class, and then we get to the class and like loved us.
That's
like
hilarious.
It was a good class.
So so my thesis in grad school was a social emergence of desserts, and so really I talked about the distinction of taste and habitus, and then also like the power of sugar and how sugar. So in France, right, we have sugar that was a lot of money, right? It's not a commodity as is now, and so the royalty looked at like showpieces as like highbrow. They had it as a centerpiece. If you look at like Marie Antoinette, the movie, not really a great movie, but like also like if you look at that movie as an example, I think that's a really good image. You see that like Kristen Dunst,
Yeah.
She's like eating at the table, right? And there's like all these like sugar showpieces in the middle.
Yeah.
And it really just shows status at the end of the day. But also like the middle class and the lower class were kind of like wanting that. It's like
They wanted the sugar.
it's like people when Beyonce had the Telfar bag and everyone's like, I gotta get a Telfar bag, right? It's literally like if let's put it in like 2021 terms. And so they idolize that kind of like lifestyle. And so once sugar became a commodity, people had access to desserts. And so you see emergence of like high-end desserts in the middle class. There's a cookbook. It's called the Royal Cookery Book by Jules Gouffet. And there's two sections. There's household cookery and there's high-class cookery. And where I asked, who is the true audience? With the growth of the middle class, the strategy was to formulate a title which its contents were aimed for the intended market. So, you have the high-end pastry chefs, like gourmet segment, and then more like the household segment, which is kind of cool. Like you never thought like this is like 1869 and people were kind of dividing their intentions to like, okay, we want to like sell this book, but also let's not sell like multiple copies. Let's have it hit multiple targets, which is kind of cool. So, I like stuff like that I geek out on. I love. So that's a really cool
awesome.
Fact in history. Jules Gouffet.
And what kind of sugar were they making then? That's just like regular. I mean, back then, and this is me just being like an extra nerd.
Yeah.
Was it fully? I mean, the difference between like raw sugar and what's like domino sugar. What's the difference?
So
do you think back then that what kind they were using? Did they even have powdered sugar at that point?
Well, so sugar. Let's talk about where sugar is coming from. Sugar comes from two sources, right? Like sucrose.
Right.
Sucrose comes from beet sugar or cane sugar. Beet sugar is literally beets from the ground, right? That they extract to make sugar. Cane sugar is processed and then like gets through bone char. So like if you see anything with cane sugar, it's not vegan versus beet sugar, which is vegan because it's white.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like cane sugar, because in America we love a lot of white things. So of course we have to purify sugar to make it white.
So what color is beet sugar then?
It's naturally white. Or it's like off-white, like
Okay.
like it has a little tinge. So it really depends on who is making it.
Right.
Like if you look at if you go to a grocery store, you get like vegan sugar. It has like a little tinge to it, like maybe a little beige. it's not processed deboned char, and that's how like cane sugar is not vegan. It's kind of crazy. Like, who thought of this? Who's like,
I had no idea that cane sugar is not vegan. Like, do vegans even know that?
Mostly don't. I did a TV show for Amazon Prime. It's a vegan show, and like most people do not know that. And for I specialize in like alternative desserts, so vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, and all this other stuff in between. And it's kind of interesting how like they don't think, like, people don't think about those kind of things. It's like on a back burner. You're just like, I'm a vegan, I'm gonna look at like an animal like source, but like also gelatin,
which I think gelatin is
vegan.
one of the mainstream things that people kind of know because
right.
But sugar, I mean,
sugar kind of like oh my god,
yeah,
have I actually been a vegan my entire life? Probably not,
right?
But also like read your labels at the end of the day,
But I think that for me, like, if I were to see sugar labeled as vegan, I would be like, no shit, it's vegan. Like, I would never have even, I would be like, all sugar's vegan. I never would have even known.
Right. And that's where, like, that's what I love learning these kind of things. Because, again, as a pastry chef in school, we're taught, like, the science behind baking. And that's where I thrive. I could literally geek out on how like mousse is born, like chocolate mousse. Let's talk about like fat coagulation, or let's talk about aeration, egg foams, and why is creating. How do we create that? What's happening with the proteins as they denature?
Wow.
I'm a geek.
No, I love it because I love this kind of stuff, and sometimes I'll talk to Dolly about it, and she'll be like, "That's so boring. That would never be like a good hour-long conversation." I'm like, what do you mean? It could be like a 5-hour-long conversation because it's like so rich in, I don't know, there's so much.
Okay, so you might like, I'm not a TikToker. I don't understand TikTok.
I don't have a TikTok.
But like Instagram is forming.
We're too old for that.
Yeah, we're vintage.
Yeah.
Instagram is forming into like a TikTok thing. So there is like a food science person who does like these like reels, and she just drops like solid information. She's super credible. I love stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, like tell me more.
Well, now in my job, I'm doing research and development. So all I'm doing is like researching things. Like, wait, why isn't this working? Like my recent thing is like, why does yogurt, when you put it in the blender, it just completely denatures the proteins? And there's so many things, like, I just constantly have to ask myself at work to understand it. And so it's so nice to have somebody like you who's just as interested in those things.
Oh my God. Are you like hitting on me? We have a connection?
I'm gay, but...
Oh my God. Sorry, Dahlia. You're excommunicated from this conversation. But I think we're okay.
Okay, so now it is time for...
Lunchbox. I'm already eating.
Dahlia's already eating. Because she prepared it for us, or got it for us today.
So I was craving Mediterranean food, and I went to Sahadi's in Industry City. Mm-hmm. It's always closed when I'm there, so I end up always going to the Japanese Village, which I also like. But I was craving Mediterranean. Sort of sad about like the options that they had there. It wasn't
at Sahadi's.
Yeah, it's a supermarket, but it wasn't as Mediterranean and Middle Eastern as,
What's better, that or Calusian's?
Calusian's is so authentic. Like, this was like not that authentic. I felt like the people there didn't even know what they were serving. I've
had people tell me that Sahadi's is better, but I've never been.
No, I don't know. You could
the
taste
company,
it.
Like, is it like
I don't know anything about the place besides like you've never gone to Industry City, but it's interesting.
Okay, so tell everybody what you got.
So I got beef and chicken kibbeh. These are, oh my God, I can never say the olive's name right.
Castelvetrano.
Castelvetrano.
I don't think they are. They don't look like Castelvetrano olives.
No.
But we can just call them that.
I got some hummus. I got some lebna. I put some sumac on it and olive oil. And then the one thing I did want to get was their fresh pita bread because it was like still steaming in the bag. I've had better pita bread, but this is good pita bread. And yeah, so this is... Oh, and grape leaves, but those are from a can that you could get at like ShopRite. Like, they're not...
Also, who makes grape leaves, honestly?
The people that make grape leaves, do you want another napkin?
I have one here. I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I'll be a survivor.
But how's so when I went out to LA right before the pandemic, I hit up Frank and I was like, I want the most LA restaurant there is. And he sent me to Jezebel.
Oh, truly.
Right away, we walk in. We already see 2 celebrities sitting at the bar. 2 guys from Entourage, which I love the show. So I was like fangirling. But then like we sat right in the middle. Shout out to Dan Davila because he's a vegan and he took us there. Mm-hmm. And I felt so bad because I'm eating with a vegan and a vegetarian and I'm ordering chicken liver mousse. But this place was it was exactly what I expected LA restaurants to look like, but the food was so good. The service was so good. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't know that LA had this kind of like food scene where like, I don't know, I felt like I was at a lounge and I was like, it was the one reason why I never want to move to LA was because everyone around me was like plastic surgery everywhere. And I was just like, oh my God, like I'm not this person.
Like Miami.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, yeah, Miami's like, Miami's fake body. LA is fake face.
Yeah.
But
100%.
how is LA compared to the East Coast? Because like here we're wild, we're free, we're dirty, we're nasty.
We're just
Yeah.
not.
How's LA?
Nasty, bougie, classy. I got it. So
I think there's a song about that.
No, I literally quoted that song.
I'm just kidding.
Wait, no, that's literally
I know that.
Megan Stallion.
Yeah.
Is it Megan Stallion?
Yeah, Queen.
Yes, I know. I was just.
Oh my God. The gays are screaming. So LA. Well, first thing they need to look at LA.
Why did you go to LA?
Okay,
First and foremost.
I moved from Boston. I graduated my master's at BU, and I said I'm kind of bored with Boston, and I wanted to like trek out west. Mm-hmm. I really didn't see a lot of opportunities for me.
Had you been to California before?
Never.
Wow.
First I've been is Vegas. So I actually wanted to go to Vegas first because in the pastry world, Vegas is the scene. Like really gourmet pastry is Vegas. And then I like applied for a job at the Beverly Wilshire. Like just like jokingly, I was like, would it be funny if I worked at Beverly Hills? Let me apply. And like I literally got the job. It was great. I worked for Chris Ford, who is like a super known American pastry chef. He's also gay, so like I love that. I love like working for another queer person, and like so it was really cool. And I love LA. Like it's 3 years out now, and I love it, which is kind of crazy.
And what's your title there?
So I don't work at the Beverly Wilshire. At the time, I was like a pastry cook. So right now, I do consulting. And actually just accepted an offer with Barry Callebaut, which is like the largest chocolate manufacturer in the States, as a West Coast technical advisor. So there, I kind of support the sales team as like the chef face.
Face.
The face.
So is the West Coast the best coast?
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
totally.
Wow. Should I move there?
I mean, I like to visit you here if it's nice.
Aww.
But like
The
also,
first time in 7 years, guys, just letting everyone know.
Okay, then move to LA. No, so LA food scene. Okay, let's start with like LA. LA it rains like maybe 3 times a year. Let's be real. Thanks.
So perfect.
Thanks global warming. And so restaurants and hotels and establishments are able to kind of have an environment that is more open. Mm-hmm. Like
It also thrives all year long. Like
Truly.
people are visiting California. There is no time to visit California. You can go anytime.
right.
When I went to LA, I ate at Broken Spanish.
Okay. Yes.
It was amazing.
Truly, really good.
So good. But did they reopen or did they move locations or do you have?
Gosh,
you
I have
no
no
idea?
idea actually. I haven't like sought my eyes on that place in a while.
Oh,
It was on my like list of like LA Recs I used to give out to people. Was Broken Spanish was on there, but so like your experience at Isabel like slaps, right? It's very on par to LA
Oh my God,
culture.
it's so good. There's trees inside.
And there's like a little stepping. There's like waterfall. I think
It's LA. Like
really
it's,
good food. My favorite thing on that menu is their fried Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah, their fried Brussels sprouts were good, and I don't eat Brussels sprouts, but they were good.
I think I told you to eat them like the first thing. Like that's what you have to get, and it's like fried Brussels sprouts with like some mint in it. It was like just amazing.
Well, I was with the vegan, so I had to get the fried Brussels sprouts.
Of course. And then the pad thai.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think LA kind of opened my eyes to what food can be.
Do you eat out a lot?
I do. Yeah, my boyfriend and I, we do eat out a lot. Like maybe like 3 times a week.
What is your go-to place there?
Oh gosh. Okay. Indian.
Nice.
I'll eat Indian. I'll eat sushi, and then I'll eat. We like to go to like our like first date spot a lot.
Aww.
And like eat there, which is just like.
What is it?
It's called the Six. It's like in Sherman Oaks. It's literally just like cash American. Like I literally get the fried chicken sandwich because I'm just like, I love it. I since dating Dylan, I always do like click my tongue like to like emphasize something. Like if something's good, so Yeah. And it's like what? It's like Kathy Hilton, when she's like, and then
she's cute.
So I do a lot. In ode of Kathy Hilton.
Love Queen. New
Truly.
Queen. She's gonna buy Bravo out. I'm just kidding. Imagine I just like start a podcast just like interviewing the Real Housewives about like, so what do you like to eat? Really cold white wine?
Really cold iced.
Iced wine.
Give me a temperature, please.
Ramona definitely has a temperature.
Oh my God. Ramona.
She has her own wine.
Oh my God.
Really?
No, not anymore.
Oh, probably.
It's not in production anymore. I looked it up.
It was probably after the divorce.
Okay, it was probably like a one-hit wonder. Let's be real. It was like,
true.
okay.
Like money can't buy you class.
They were like, okay. The manufacturer was like, okay, we'll give you like 500 bottles of wine, and that's it.
And that's it. We're not doing this ever again.
We're not going to renew the contract. We're not going to slap a label on our blended
Also,
white
like
wine.
a lot of people can make their own wine. Which is like, it's not really you making your own wine. You're literally just like going to the vineyard and be like, I want this note and this note and this note.
And then they don't know any different. They
Yeah,
just
like
get whatever.
yeah, they
the
just
vineyard
give
gives
you
them.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like I have a friend that like made their own wine. Like their family does it every year.
Cash.
Yeah, it is a cash thing, but it's funny. It's like a normal family could do it.
Right.
So,
And people are like, oh, that's so LA. That's so.
Yeah. Do you eat a lot of tacos?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I love tacos. Actually, when traveling to Brooklyn, I had the whitest burrito.
What?
Where did you
had
get a
Mexican
burrito from?
food here?
Okay, it wasn't here. It was at the airport in Kansas City. So, like, one, shame on me for going to the airport and eating food
Yeah,
there.
seriously.
Also, shame on me for getting a burrito in the airport. So, it's like a very floured tortilla.
Wow.
Like, they didn't even shake the flour out. It was like so much flour on that tortilla. And then it was like refried beans, like minced chicken, like the smallest amount, cheese, and a little bit of sour cream and avocado, and the most loose wrap burrito. And then
Ew,
they cut it in half. That's the crime. They cut the burrito in half.
I don't know why people cut burritos in half. I think that's
does
like
that?
atrocious.
Who does that?
I don't like to eat burritos.
You're supposed to
I had a
enjoy
burrito
a
yesterday.
burrito. You're supposed to enjoy a burrito. It's like every level. It's like a Paco Jet. When a Paco Jet like it cleans every is like different levels. That's why a burrito is that way, right? You need to enjoy every single layer of the burrito.
And it has to have everything in each bite.
100%.
That's why I don't like burritos, because there's never everything in each bite.
I had a good burrito yesterday.
You get a couple bites that are just rice, or a couple bites that are just chicken. It's like,
You gotta adjust the burrito to your preference.
yeah.
Things shift during shipping.
I hate watching somebody that doesn't know how to eat a burrito. That's like also my least favorite. Like when they're the type of people that like unwrap the whole burrito and then they sit there and like eat the burrito.
That's me.
Oh, see, you're going to dinner after this.
I'm literally. Oh my God! Thank God for my undershirt.
You can flip it inside out.
Oh my God! I have this jacket.
But you know those people that like eat sandwiches and it just falls apart like the second bite they're eating it. You're just like, do I have to teach you how to eat something with 2 hands? Like it's not that hard.
Oh, that's me with a gyro. Absolutely, I will. It will just shovel in a pita. Absolutely, I can't.
Well, it depends on how good. So, what did you guys think of this pita bread?
It's very floury.
It is very floury.
It's just like.
But there were 2 kinds. One was wheat, right?
Yeah.
I like this one, the white flour one, better.
I like
the
how
wheat one was
you
dry.
could open it. You know how like some pita like doesn't
Breaks
let you
apart.
open. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I like
and
the
that's-
opening part,
that's
but
really
you could
nice.
tell like if you make a sandwich out of this, it'll fall apart.
So what is this little dessert called?
A new net. New net.
Sounds
It's like pure sugar.
It sounds
Bless
like-
you.
I didn't like it. I thought it was dry.
Okay.
Uh,
I actually enjoyed it. It's,
I know you
well,
did.
it's dry.
I'll
Yes.
get the bag and we can read it.
It's dry, but it's so sweet that like it doesn't feel that dry. Cause sugar, like once it hits your mouth, it like melts.
Like a sugar cookie.
Yeah.
Dry as hell.
Oh my god. Oh, I hate sugar cookies. I don't understand people who eat sugar cookies.
Okay, so I've never liked sugar cookies, but Thomas's mom makes the best sugar cookies.
Shout out Thomas.
There's a lot of butter in them, so
Oh.
and they're soft.
So this one's made with wheat flour, so it's gluten. It says blueberry jam, gelling agent. Okay, la 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 la. Inverted sugar syrup, sugar, leavening powder.
And what part of the world do these come from?
France, Dijon, France, actually.
Dijon.
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 Yeah, there's almonds in here. Maybe it says traces.
Probably like almond flour.
So these are called nonettes. Oh, Nicole, you could say that properly. I don't know why I have.
Nonette fior métier. I can't say it. I
Yeah,
can't.
they're honey nonettes filled with blueberry jam. I don't know why they were.
Blueberry. I get more date.
That's what Thomas said. He didn't taste the blueberry either. So I have no idea. I didn't really like them. I don't like dried desserts. I like moist. Yeah. I'm giving it to you. So I want you to give advice to a freshman in college that is going to school for culinary but just doesn't know what's out there in the world for them, because I didn't know. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I didn't want to own a restaurant. I wanted to own a little coffee shop. Now I never want to do that.
Oh my god. Everyone asks me, do you want to own a pastry shop? And I go, hell no. Why would I want to work 20-hour days to like suffer?
Would you tell that freshman in college though that you should work a 20-hour day for a few years to see how that feels?
This is what I would tell them. I would say, what are your goals? And they're like, I want to be a Michelin star chef. I'm like, cool.
What
Why?
are the odds?
Why?
Why?
Like that was the thing. My goal in college was to work in Michelin
Okay.
and to be a pastry chef and Michelin star pastry chef, be famous, be on like Forbes top 30 under 30. Like,
I'm still.
How old
trying
are you
to do
right
that. He's my age.
yeah.
So
yeah,
you've
we're
got like
famous.
a year. You got a couple years to do that.
She's like, you got to be here. She's like, you look old.
I almost said
It's the LA sun. Leave me alone.
too late. Too late. No, I'm
Put
just kidding.
serum on my face this morning.
You could get Botox for cheaper there.
I actually told my mom. I called her one day. I was like, I'm gonna get fillers. She's like, what? And I was like, no, I'm kidding. She's like, oh, okay.
She wouldn't be surprised though. Like,
I don't think she knows what fillers
My
are.
mom told me she wanted to get Botox, and I was like, good, I'll go with you. Let's go.
Oh my god, buy one get one, please. I love a good BOGO. This is what I would say to a freshman student. Like, what are your goals? Like, what are you like? Really, what do you want to do in your life?
yeah.
They say, tell me like a Michelin star pastry chef. I'm like, cool. Why? And at what lengths are you willing to sacrifice? Because the thing is, people don't realize what you want at 18 is not what you want at 28. Mm-hmm. It's not what you want at 38. It's not what
But
you
you
want
don't
at
know
48.
until you see it and decide that's not what you want.
Exactly. Like, I was okay working 15-hour days when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. But now
Were you okay?
Well, you know, it's like my purpose in life was cooking,
Yeah.
was pastry, was the industry. That was my loyalty. And so I was so gung-ho and doing whatever it took.
Yeah.
I mean, I did competitions my entire time at Johnson & Wales. It was competition
I
after
know,
competition
like
after
a
competition.
college kid trying to have fun.
Yeah, like
Not
people,
Frank.
No,
Yeah,
like-
definitely not. Frank wasn't the one that was like, oh, I need to go to a party.
right? Or like I would throw like a Great Gatsby party with wine and cheese. Like what?
Yeah, like that's Frank's party.
Like that's me. So like I wasn't like that kind of like kid, but I supplement that with my career. And looking back, I do regret not making those connections because in culinary school or any school, you're networking.
Yeah.
Really, think of that. It's you pay for the courses, but you also pay for the free networking. Really.
Yeah.
And like, look at now, 7 years I haven't spoken to you.
I know. We
but
still know
like,
each other.
we are like connected, you know. And I'm sure that like if there is an opportunity, you're like, oh, Frank is a great person, and I do the same thing to you because
Yeah.
we know what we're all both capable of, and that's just because we are just genuinely really good people.
Yeah.
And just really freaking talented. Tongue pop. Nicole, you're cool too.
Yeah, well,
When she
I taught her
wants to
everything
be.
she knows.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah, she's like, I taught her how to open a door.
Literally.
And
And how to close one. No, she taught me how to close one. I
Oh,
taught her how to
I
open
know how
it.
to fucking close doors. I do.
period. But you know, I think as back to like, you know, what I would say to like a freshman is, what are your goals? Also, don't get a management degree. Period. It's, I think, a waste of time and money. Like now the industry is kind of moving for R&D and innovation.
Yeah.
And so people, you know, I think our age group, right? Like people who are pushing 30, they are the Food Network people,
Yeah.
right? We were inspired by Food Network. We were like
Anthony Bourdain.
TV.
Yeah.
Yes. And food
Oh
media
my gosh,
really
on my way home, I watched
On my way home?
On my way home on the airplane, I watched the Anthony Bourdain documentary, but that's another conversation.
So sad.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, well,
Me either, but I'm assuming it would be really sad. I mean,
it was cool. It was like sad because it's sad, you know, but it was also really good.
is it sad?
I have a hard time feeling sadness when I'm around other people.
Wow.
So,
You were on an airplane
yeah,
with
exactly.
random motherfuckers.
Yeah, no. So it was sad because like, yeah, it was sad,
It was sad.
but it wasn't as sad as
It
you
wasn't
might
sad,
think it is.
but it was sad.
It was sad for me. I don't know if it would be sad for everyone.
Like it's sad for people in our industry
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, people were distraught.
Yeah.
Period.
for like weeks.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember exactly where I was.
I was.
And I think, but it was really eye-opening for me, realizing like I was traveling a lot at that time in my career, that happens, and it's like it's not what everyone thinks it is. Like it is lonely, and so to see like one of the biggest names like going through what I was going through, but like on a crazy big, much larger scale, it's like wow, like it's not all. I don't know. There's a whole
roses.
episode.
It
We
wasn't.
gotta do a whole
It
episode on
wasn't
it.
an ideal job, even though it was an ideal job.
100%.
Yeah, like
And it's really hard for people to understand that. They're like, I want to be him. It's like, do you though?
I did. I think anyone did.
And, you know, I think that's what media creates is this, like, falsehood of, like, this is what life is, but really you don't know what life is for them.
Yeah.
And so, and you pursue that. You pursue the American dream, so to speak, or what is success from a food media thing.
Yeah.
And we got in and we're like, let's do it. And I think this generation doesn't have that, right? They don't have food media as their reasoning,
No, they see
They-
TikTok now.
right? They're like, I'm gonna be an influencer. But also, like, I think
That's what they want to be. Like, there's polls now of people wanting to be content creators and Instagram influencers and YouTubers. Like,
I mean, honestly, thank you so much for the job security. There's less competition for us. You know? Like, you ain't gonna see me doing a TikTok dance and whatever they call it.
do a renegade right now.
What?
What?
Who?
I don't know
What?
what that is.
It's a dance.
What's the, like...
I
I don't get it.
don't get it either. I actually hate those.
Call me...
Yeah, but we still watch them.
Yeah, we
Freaking
still
old.
watch them. Yeah.
I would tell a freshman, like, go into food innovation and technology and like really focus on like food science and R&D and product development, because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, like people.
Do you think someone in our industry should follow the money?
Well, you know, for people as line cooks who make what, $17 an hour.
I think it's important to do it all, though. In order for us to understand the industry, you need to know what it's like to work as a line cook.
Absolutely.
Whether it's 6 months or 3 months or a year or 10 years.
Yeah.
It's important to know where the industry has been before you want to change where it's going.
Absolutely. I think, you know, it's important, like, yeah, you should be working in a restaurant and have that food experience. Like,
Yeah.
RDs that have no real industry experience, like, they don't understand how to really adapt and alter a menu to suit the person.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, I know the science. Okay, great. But actually, do you know the application?
Yeah.
So absolutely, like, they should work. They should be in the bottom. I'm not saying they should not be in restaurants, but I think if you look at like long term, what is your goal? And like, do you want to have a family? Do you want to, like, what is success for you? We all define success in different ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think if you look at like Michelin star chefs, they're there for so long and then they get burnt out. And then they're like,
And divorced.
divorce, drug addiction, you know, X, Y, and Z.
Alcoholic, yeah.
Literally fill in the blank. And it's like, they thought they were strong enough to supersede that, but they weren't. They couldn't. And like, is that the kind of lifestyle you might walk yourself into?
Yeah.
And if so, like, maybe let's talk about what other options there are on the food industry. What I love about the food industry, there's so many different segments. And
That's why we're here.
yeah, baby. Like, I mean, like, I left the kitchen, COVID, like, I got laid off from COVID at my job because of COVID. And I worked in the kitchen and back in the kitchen, and I thought I missed it. I was like going through a depression where I was like, oh, I need to be back in the kitchen. I gotta be baking. And then I go back and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is everything I remember I hated.
You're like, oh, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, and like, oh, okay, Control Alt Delete, let me go, eject, eject, eject. And it really opens your eyes to like, what are your priorities? And I think that's the conversation people need to have with themselves is, what are your priorities now in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you achieve that? It's not working 6 days a week, 12 plus hour shifts.
It's not ignoring your body 360 days a year.
What about the other 5 days?
I don't know. Those 5 are like the days you have to call out of work because you're sick or hungover.
Or you did laundry.
Or you had to do laundry. Or the 5 days a year you actually got off of work, but you slept all day.
Respect.
Yeah.
Much respect. Yeah, like 100%.
I didn't sleep on my days off.
Oh my God, no.
I'm bad. I need to do things constantly.
Yeah, your earrings.
My
are
earrings are
moving.
shaking because
your
of it.
earrings are great. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to move too. You know?
Yeah, like we were talking about how like I like to be alone, and Nicole's like, no way, and I'm like, I do. Like after 12 days of hanging out with everyone, I could go back home and watch some Netflix.
Right, and like recenter yourself.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation of like mental health and working in the industry is like now there in the foreground.
Yeah.
And people are listening. And also you see.
I wouldn't
you see
say
this
like a
pushback.
regular restaurant is listening. I would say like a corporate setting is. Because I remember
Truly.
when I moved from like Michelin star kitchen to corporate, and I came in 2 hours late. I texted my chef like every 15 minutes telling him like, hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I'm going to be late. And I came in, didn't ask me anything. And I was in the walk-in with him, and he goes, so like, why were you late? And I was just like, oh, I was having an anxiety attack. And he goes, oh, I have those once a week. He's like, if you need to take the day off, you can. Like that. So casual.
Casual.
And if I said that in my Michelin star restaurant, like, hey, I'm having an anxiety attack.
Like, get over it.
They would have laughed at you or called
Yeah.
you like no call, no show.
Like my wife literally divorced me this morning. Get back to work, you know. And it's like, okay, there's no
He's like-
sympathy and empathy, right, over like the human
Yeah.
experience, and that's the worst part.
Yeah.
You feel so lesser, and
Yeah.
like working.
You're not human at that point.
No, and like people forget that. They forget you know, kind of circling back to like being gay in the kitchen. Like people forget, like you're a person.
Yeah.
Treat me like a human being. I'm not a robot. I'm gonna break down, baby. Change my oil. You know?
Right. Or you have to sometimes when you hurt your knee, you have to go to the doctor. I had a chef before where he actually was like riding his Vespa to work and he got hit by a car and he came to work after like limping, bleeding. He worked service all night. And I'm just sitting here thinking like,
So
you should have
miserable.
gone to the hospital, and because you didn't, and he worked all week like that.
It's
because
fucking pride. They have this
Yeah, but it's like-
For who? For who?
could have, like,
People, line cooks who are never gonna remember your name in 5 years. Come on.
I mean, but he was like, he was supposed to be the next executive chef of the company. So like he wanted to be there to show. But I'm like, he's going to have this injury in his knee for the rest of his life
Yeah,
because
and
he
then pay
never
for
took
all
care
that
of it.
PT
Did he-
appointments.
Guess what? He did get the position.
Okay.
And I guess it paid off. But at the same time, I'm like, everybody can see that you shouldn't be here. Why are you here? And why is the employer like allowing you and encouring this behavior?
Because they're probably like, huh.
Well,
Tough guy.
He's
Tough-
he's-
exactly.
He's a chum. Like we could pull one over on him.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, why? Like, why can't you just give yourself grace for one day?
Yeah.
It's literally, like, I got hit by a car by cycling, and I was like, oh my God, to my boss. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be out. He's like, you got hit by a car. Yeah, don't come to work. Please.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel bad. I'm like, you feel guilty,
Isn't
right?
that horrible though? Like, I'm glad that like it's changing. Like, it's you shouldn't feel horrible for calling out of work because something physically or mentally is happening to you. Like, and 2 personal days a year, like for most jobs.
Please.
2? 2?
It's
There
called.
should be 1 a month,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like, take 1 day out of a month just for yourself, because on the weekends you're doing things with your family or your significant other or like your friends that need you.
Or
Like,
laundry or whatever.
yeah, like you're constantly doing something, but like no one has. I do this thing called Dahlia Days, and if you're close to me, like you know what I do on Dahlia Days, which I usually do yoga. I got a facial done yesterday, got my oil changed. Like I did all the things I needed to do that I can't do on a normal weekend day because I'm doing other things.
Right.
So I don't know. I think there should be a law passed.
Everybody should get a Dahlia.
Everyone should get a Dahlia day. And I have friends that text me like, oh, what are you, like, I'd be like, what are you doing? They'd be like, I'm having a Dahlia day. And I'm like, yes.
Yes, queen. Word.
Yeah. But, all right, we're done talking about Dahlia days.
Fine. It's like the new, it's like Black Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Dollar days or Black Fridays.
Where
Well-
you just shop until you drop.
Well, I do that weekly. But anyway, thank you, Frank, so much.
Thank you, Frank. You know my grandfather's name is Frank.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, so my grandfather's name is Frank. Well, it's Francisco, but
Francisco.
my mom didn't want to name me Francisco, so she named me Frank. My middle name's Antonio. But fun fact: I was the
Francisco.
Francisco.
Antonio.
Antonio Carrieri.
Carrieri.
Yeah, I know. It's literally so
Piacere.
attractive. Hi. Like, what's that?
That means nice to meet you in
Oh.
Italian.
Se va?
No, that's French.
That's French.
Oh. Sorry. ¿Cómo estai?
Tutto bene.
Bien. That's like 3 languages right there. No, literally, when I was in Italy, they're like, do you speak Italian? I go, I know 3 words. Come stai, pizza, and cannoli. And that's it, really.
You gotta get cannoli.
Cannoli.
In your name, your
Yeah.
entire name.
Yeah, which, I mean, you know.
Was that
it's-
the fun fact?
What?
That you know cannoli?
Cannoli. No, it was like, what? They're like, what is, what, like, they're like, do you speak Italian? I was like, yeah, I know like 3 words, and those are the 3 words. So I guess that's a fun fact.
Do you know in Kicking and Screaming? Do you watch the movie with Will Ferrell? Oh, right.
No.
There's
Yeah,
a part in Kicking and Screaming where like there's 2 Italian boys that come onto the team and they like transform the team into this amazing soccer team, and Will Ferrell's like, always passes the Italians, and the little boys are like, how do you say pizza in Italian? They go pizza. They go, how do you say spaghetti? Spaghetti. And then the little boy goes, wow, Italian's easy. And it's cute. It's cute.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna literally make a whole brand out of that. Oh gosh, that's my
Well,
consulting services.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
right?
Well,
so thank you
I'm
for
gonna-
coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'll send the invoice.
Yes.
We're gonna have signed T-shirts of Frank's face and him going.
Oh,
Spaghetti.
my God. Literally,
And spaghetti.
find me on Cameo. No kidding. Imagine.
But if you guys are on the West Coast, hit up Frank. He knows all the places to go eat at.
Yeah, and then follow me on Instagram at Frank Carr, FrankCarr.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at KeishMyAssPod. And thank you for listening on Spotify, Apple, and other podcasts. Podbean. Oh, and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, bitches. Love you. Mwah.
Bye.